So Ford CEO stated just last week that AI could replace half of all white-collar jobs. Amazon CEO announced they're reducing corporate headcount due to AI. JP Morgan's executives confirmed AI will eliminate thousands of positions. Even Anthropic CEO claims 50% of white-collar jobs will be destroyed in 5 years. But here's the punchline. AI is so frickin' broken that it can't even reliably perform the jobs it's supposedly replacing. We're witnessing the biggest tech con job since Paul Newman and Robert Redford in The Sting. Great movie, by the way, if you haven't watched it. I suggest you do. Welcome back. Today we're exposing how the robot economy promises utopia while delivering a dystopian nightmare where robots don't work because they don't work. Humans lose their jobs and executives cash 8-figure bonuses for innovation. Amazon deployed over 1 million robots in their fulfillment centers, the largest automated workforce since the Matrix farming humans for battery power. The press release proudly declares these models improve efficiency by 10% and require 30% more employees in reliability, maintenance, and engineering roles. What they don't mention is the total number of jobs eliminated in the process. The 30% more technical roles, that claim serves as corporate misdirection is all. What matters is the absolute number of jobs eliminated versus created. When a warehouse replaces 1,000 workers with robots and hires 30 engineers to maintain the robots, that's a 97% reduction in human employment. The robot economy focuses on eliminating human labor costs entirely, not making work easier for us human types. While robot arms and warehouses capture headlines, the shadow consolidation of AI power happens through non-acquisition acquisitions, and we talked about this a little bit last episode, but I wanted to mention it again because it's important. Meta's $14.3 billion acquisition of Scale AIs operates as a talent grab disguised as a partnership. He just wanted the guy that runs that thing. Microsoft's $13 billion investment in OpenAI gives him some control without triggering antitrust scrutiny. Google's $2 billion stake in Anthropic follows the same pattern. These shadow consolidations focus on controlling the underlying infrastructure of the robot economy. The companies that own the AI models, the training data, and the physical infrastructure position themselves to capture almost all of the economic benefits of automation. Microsoft sees 9,000 jobs eliminated across its divisions while maintaining its economic value. They're transferring value from human workers to technological assets they control. Basically, what I'm saying is that the robot economy concentrates power in fewer corporate hands than ever before. And please don't forget to hit that like and thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't. I would greatly appreciate it. The darkly hilarious aspect, and I know it's not funny, but, we've got to laugh a little bit. It's not that the robots are taking jobs, which they are. It's that they're totally incompetent at the task they're supposedly revolutionizing. Researchers at Carnegie Mellon found that most AI agents fail at basic business tasks in simulated environments, making the same predictable mistakes humans have documented for years, and we probably don't make those mistakes anymore. We're witnessing the most absurd economic transformation in human history. Trillion-dollar investments in systems that both claim to replace all human workers while requiring more human labor to function. Failure is the current central design feature of the robot economy. The Xbox layoffs aren't happening because AI works perfectly. They're happening because executives claim AI works perfectly while hiring armies of invisible workers to fix the constant failures. Microsoft just laid off 650 employees across its Xbox Game Studios. But don't worry, Xbox Game Studios executive producer Matt Turnbull has some advice for those who lost their jobs. He says, use AI to cope. That's right, the very technology accelerating these layoffs is apparently also the solution for dealing with, that same thing. It's like being hit by a car and having the driver toss you a Band-Aid as they speed away. The complete disconnect is Turnbull suggests using AI for emotional clarity and confidence, with prompts like, I'm struggling with imposter syndrome after being laid off. Can you help me reframe this experience? He also recommends using AI to rewrite resumes and LinkedIn profiles, apparently unaware that these laid-off workers are going to be competing against each other for the same jobs with the same AI tools that are helping to eliminate the jobs already. Not only is this tone deaf, it's a perfect illustration of the robot economy in action, where technology eliminates jobs and is pitched as a solution to that elimination. I know I'm not the brightest tool in the shed, but something about this just does not make sense to me. While tech executives like Goldman Sachs CIO are busy telling AI natives they're more essential than ever, Elon Musk is revealing the physical reality of the robot economy by literally buying an entire power plant overseas and having it shipped to America. xAI's upcoming data center will house 1 million AI GPUs and consume up to 2 gigawatts of power, equivalent to the electricity needs of 1.9 million American homes. And for what? To run AI models that still can't reliably complete basic business tasks without human supervision? Yeah, I guess so. The robot economy isn't about intelligent machines replacing humans. It's about corporations consuming more resources than entire cities to produce systems that still require human oversight, all pretending while the technology is ready to replace workers. Remember when Elon said AI was an existential threat to humanity? Turns out he was right, but not because the AI is super intelligent. It's because the computing infrastructure required to run these fundamentally limited systems will consume so much electricity that regular humans won't be able to afford their power bills. Now, a word of caution with all of this. Just because these systems are having the troubles now doesn't mean we all get to, relax, hold hands, and take long showers together while singing, or whatever Gunnery Sergeant Highway said in whatever movie that was that I've watched a million times, and all of a sudden I can't remember what it was called. Heartbreak Ridge. Hey, boom, ha. Remember, so this is as bad as the technology is going to be, okay? AI will get better from here. So it's not a time to just sit back and relax. You've got to keep learning all you can so that you can stay ahead of AI's learning curve. This is a little bit of a pause for us, a little bit of a break in the action. Like I've said numerous times in the past episodes, Mr. Altman could release ChatGPT 5 any day now, and it could blow us all away. We don't know. We don't know what we've got coming. And that goes for every single day of our lives, I guess. But this is not a time to relax, okay? So, get ahead of the curve. Be in there watching some YouTube videos. Take a class or two online. Some are free. Learn all you can. This is the time to do it. Because, case in point, in Denmark, an AI model detects pancreatic cancer with 91.8% sensitivity at diagnosis and can spot signs of cancer a full year before clinical diagnosis. At Johns Hopkins, the MARS system predicts deadly cardiac events with 89% accuracy compared to current clinical guidelines that are not much better than throwing dice. The tech brethren are building gigawatt-consuming monstrosities to replace workers who still outperform the technology, while underfunding the specialized AI applications that could actually save millions of lives. It's the technological equivalent of spending your life savings on a gold-plated Hummer while your child needs life-saving medication. A catastrophic misallocation of resources driven purely by greed rather than human benefit. Elon Musk isn't buying overseas power plants to improve cardiac prediction models or detect early stages of pancreatic cancer. He's doing it to build ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude competitors that still can't reliably complete tasks as human types do effortlessly every day. The greatest tragedy of the digital apocalypse is that we're pushing human workers towards extinction, while the actual valuable applications of AI struggle for funding, attention, and electricity. The algorithms don't need healthcare, vacations, or living wages. They just need electricity, which ironically might become unaffordable for the human types like us that they've replaced. Work gives humans more than money. It provides purpose, community, and identity. And yes, I know your job isn't necessarily your identity, but take it from somebody like an older guy like me. You spend your career working, and it is a big part of what you do. Automating away jobs without systems to distribute benefits creates a spiritual poverty that no UBI check can address, therefore. It's like removing someone's skeleton but offering them a gift card to Applebee's as compensation. If automation truly benefits everyone, why are executive compensation packages growing faster than the hair coming out of my ears or falling off the top of my head? If AI creates more jobs than it eliminates, why are CEOs bragging to shareholders about headcount reduction like they're competing for a corporate version of The Biggest Loser? And just remember, ASI is going to kill us all. ASI is simply a tool. ASI will lead us to utopia. ASI will be a UBI nightmare, so don't be such a fool. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.